and welcome to a tournament of lies, the podcast where three friends from around the world try and rate every single video game ever made on an ever-expanding list. Our list, 58 games thick right now, and we're going to add some more today. Some more from genres that you've all been complaining we haven't put in yet, so we're going to do it, okay? Hello, my name is Danny, joined by James O'Connor, who appears to have moved house.
Yes, the brand new West Coast LA studio is slowly but surely coming together.
Nice.
And I think it'll be very nice
and
in the future.
New roommates or not?
No, it's pretty much the same folk.
Do you still have the cat? Is the cat still
cats.
there? No cats.
Squeaky John Steen, unfortunately, still at the old house, as is GC Snuggle Buddy. So.
Oh, GC standing for girl cat, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people don't know this, but she's very girly. She's very cat-like. So she earned the name Girl Cat.
You have a fucking rap sheet for giving cats the stupidest names. If I remember correctly, you have a cat in Waterford called Little Goose.
Oh, poor Silly Goose.
Oh, Silly Goose, sorry.
Silly Goose. Goose, unfortunately, passed away a few years ago.
All right. Well,
she was very silly. And then there's, the other one then who's still alive is, I currently just go Pikachu.
Okay.
But definitely Cheesy Pig is probably the way around.
Cheesy Pig.
Yeah.
Are these names that you've made up for the cats, or are these names that your family also prescribes to?
It's what they've subscribed to them. The way I sort of treat it is like the first name for a cat is almost like the slave name.
Okay.
It's like this sort of like base name for like the first few years getting used to it. And then after that you actually get the characteristics and like see what happens.
Okay.
So like Cheesy Pig is like all she does is eat and just roll around and purr. And then, like, her purr sort of sounds like a grunt. And then also, her meow sounds like she's saying cheesy. I used to do when she was younger.
She makes
him Cheesy Pig. Or Pikachu.
Okay. What about Silly Goose?
She did, her quack sounds kind of like a goose.
Okay.
It sounded like a goose. And she was a silly goose as well.
Also, have you moved to South Central? Because you seem to have a lot more helicopters flying over.
Almost. We are now, it's almost like a Disneyland. There we go. I'll try to close it down a bit. You would be shocked by the amount of sirens that are going. We can have another pod talking about how terrible gentrification is in terms of cost of rent in metropolis areas. You and I could have a big thing about that. So.
Hey man, we could talk about Watch Dogs 2. It's basically a whole game about it. My man Dennis is just happily or calmly waiting to talk while we're just rambling here in California. You're in Waterford. Your beard mustache situation very strong, way stronger than James, who apparently shaved his 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Well done, Dennis. I'm impressed.
My grooming has taken a hit since we saw it last, on the basis that I've had a full fracture of my wrist and full rehab since we last did this podcast.
Wow. Okay.
Here we are.
I remember it had just happened or something, but I didn't realize it was that bad. Because it's been a month since we talked. Apologies, everyone.
Oh wow.
That's all right. Cast the whole shebang, all that crack and uncracked, and here I am back. Normal.
Yeah, people should consider this our Halloween special, I think.
No, it's a Thanksgiving special.
Oh, Thanksgiving now,
yes.
Yeah, okay.
I've actually themed this episode around Thanksgiving.
Oh, excellent.
I somehow managed to do it, while also trying to get some games in, genres in that we haven't before. But you're right, it's been a while and we haven't really talked. So, Dennis, how did that affect you playing games? Were you
pretty badly?
Yeah.
I'll show you. It's not a huge thing, but here's my Steam controller, which is my main controller that I use for my PC.
Okay.
I have to hold it like this. Now, that doesn't look bad, but what I'm saying is I actually have to hold it up to my face like that. That's how I play games.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because I couldn't, I could straighten the wrist this way, but if I had my hand down, which you can't see now, I just couldn't do it until then. So I couldn't play properly any of the games that needed a controller, so Rocket League was very difficult for quite a while.
Jeez.
And the cast that I had on pretty much kind of went up to like there.
Right.
Don't know if this is going to sound really great on the audio version. So I went up and covered like the very like knuckles, I guess.
Yeah.
So everything was awkward. Keyboard with my left hand, so my Dota keyboard hand was not great.
Not fun.
Yeah. I still played. Don't get me wrong. It just hurt and was bad.
And stopped your recovery.
But here I am.
You'd broken bones before. I remember you broke your bone when we were skating downtown once, right?
Yeah, I can't remember what I broke that time. I think it was my ankle.
Right.
Yeah. You helped me to my car, if I remember correctly.
I think yeah.
But I broke one of my wrists as well, also skating before that. But I don't know which one, so I don't know was it a repeat of the same thing or not. But
yeah,
I'm weak.
Fair play. Well, you're strong because you're able to recover from it. That's I'm a little bitch. I don't think I've ever. I think I broke my big toe, my right foot before, but like that doesn't really count.
Is all over the place.
No, but like I'm weak-willed. Like you break a bone, you're like, I've done this before. If I broke a bone, I'd be like freaking out. I'd be like,
too happy.
I'm falling apart.
Danny, that as well. Now we'd be paying like $5,000 for the same thing. Dennis probably paid $200.
That's true. Well,
euros.
so break your arms now
Yes.
before the Trump economy comes in. As somebody who recently quit their job and is enjoying the Affordable Care Act, I'm a bit like, motherfucker. God. We had a big chat about it when I was down with you, James, and about how ridiculous it was that he was still in the running.
Yeah, it's I'm not honestly to be political show.
From three Irish guys.
Yeah, from three Irish guys. I wasn't shocked that he won. Being honest with you, like I thought he was going to win, or at least be very deep in. Oh, sorry, I hoped he didn't win.
Yeah.
I sort of compare his presidency to hopefully a better George Bush Jr. But I wasn't shocked. I mean, he was filling arenas, and she could barely get like 2,000 people to show up at like a dance hall. So
that popular vote, though.
Popular vote, all right, yeah.
It's
but
weird.
I mean, the problem is the mess we have now. Where like, thanks to all the we can get into another time. That's for a different show.
It's for our Sanders podcast. We'll kick in for 2020.
Bernie would have actually moved this country to the 20th century. It would have been beautiful.
Sometimes you got to take a step back before you take 2 steps forward. All right, let's talk about video games.
Yes.
Let's. A lot's actually happened since we talked last. I guess the main thing is that the Nintendo Switch has been sort of formally revealed. The two of you are sort of more Nintendo-y fan than I am, although the three of us own a Wii U. But I was thinking a couple of days ago about it. That time I famously said the PSP was better than the DS, and you were all very correct about that. What do you think about the Switch, Dennis? Are you interested in it?
Yeah, I've pre-ordered it, so I kind of broke my own rule on pre-ordering shit. So
cool.
Yeah, I'm totally in because they can't do any wrong in my eyes, even when they do hideously bad things.
When they do wrong. How much did you drop down for the pre-order?
I don't know, €60 or something.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
They haven't set a price or anything, right? There's like a rumor out that's going to be like 250, 300.
Yeah, that seems to be the rumor. Ireland will probably get a light shafting, but
right. Yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll see.
I'll sneak you one back.
What about yourself, James?
I haven't pre-ordered. I'm looking forward to it though. It's sort of not shocking that this is what came out. I for years have been known as the video game Nostradamus, and that was because I predicted that the Wii U was really well. Now, I read an article once, and I agreed with it that the Wii U was very much just a prototype. And this article, I forget who did it. It might have been like Nintendo Life or someone. The person pointed out that
Game Life.
Oh, fuck, if only it was Game Life. R.I.P. We got to bring them back. But if only I knew someone who made documentaries about video game and video game
Oh
themes.
my God.
Who could do a retrospective and or catch up on.
Did the Game Life guy?
Game Life.
Didn't he get like done for some really gnarly fucking sexual weird shit or something? Was that?
No, I think
Stalking.
That might be closer to the thing. He might have gone a little neckbeardy. And
Right.
He may have.
I bet he voted Trump.
threatened
He
to
might have.
bomb somewhere or something.
That's
didn't
what it was.
he do something to his
He was
colleague.
I think he was very angry about a girl not showing attention, and in a post 9/11 world,
Right.
well, he said the wrong words for what he was not going to do. So I do feel bad for him. But
Go on a date with me, or I'll fly a plane into your house,
or I'll blow up the whole college. Is probably like angsty teens.
People should Google. What should they Google? Game Life episode 1 or just?
100%.
Yeah, just.
I did. We've probably watched that more times than we should admit.
Anyway,
But,
sorry.
But no. But this person pointed out how like very much with the Virtual Boy. Again, it was kind of a thing where it was like a tech demo that Nintendo felt they had to put out, and it was too early, so it ended up being like too expensive and not quite there. And you could see that with the Wii U, but the fact like it's just sort of
It's like a halfway house.
exactly what they wanted it to be was just a handheld, and what they sort of later did themselves for the most part is just make it a case that you could play and someone else can watch the TV. But they at that point it was just too expensive, and they needed still like a console body. It was just sort of very much. It was an in-between, and I felt like they always wanted to go more to have a 3DS that pretty much could Apple TV or Chromecast to like a TV and play the games on it. I think that's very much the Switch is going to be.
Yeah.
So
Looks
it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
I like how every time they diversify is better, because like the PS4 and Xbox One are so bloody common right now, and they're like basically underpowered PCs as well, even in terms of the games that are available. Like Watch Dogs 2, played a bunch this week. Like, I feel like the only reason Ubisoft even released that thing, like they did a whole 2 weeks later on PC thing, is like because they have to, because so many people have PCs now and will totally get the Ubisoft version. Although, you know, they also have a history of making buggy ass games. What have you guys been playing recently? Dennis, what have you been playing for the moment? You mentioned Dota, and your wrist kind of stopped you playing a bunch of stuff. Did you play any of the new games? Because a bunch of stuff's come out since we talked last, but almost like too much stuff too quickly.
Yeah.
So I kind of mentioned playing this a couple of podcasts ago, which is the Batman Telltale series. So I've been keeping up with that, and I played the first one like the week it came out, but then I played episode 2 and 3 about a week ago. The fourth one came out this week, I think. So I have that downloaded, but haven't gotten into it yet. But I'm loving it. Really good. Probably my favorite Telltale since the original 2 Walking Deads, which were
excellent,
amazing. And picked up this today, which is new in Ireland and
Ooh.
Europe, but actually is out 5 days or something in the States. But so between the two of those, that
was for audio listeners. That was Pokemon Sun, was it?
Second class citizens, don't worry about them. But Pokemon Sun, yes. So actually, I haven't really started it. Picked it up today. Didn't have a chance to get into it, but you know, Pokemon game, I'll do 20-30 hours into that over the next 3 days.
Nice work. Me and the wife have been playing a lot of Spelunky, which I kind of had played when it came out, but we've gotten really into it in co-op, like super into it. So that's kind of become our new go-to. Played Titanfall 2 campaign. It was really good. I sort of went in with low expectations. And I think that helped. Watch Dogs 2 is kind of interesting in this weird like voyeuristic, because it's such a well done version of Oakland and San Francisco. It's like kind of shocking. It's like super, like really weird particular things are accurate. And then I've been playing Ocarina of Time for the first time.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And where am I now? I just went back and talked to the little green lady in the forest, where I had to listen to her sing and figure out when I was going left or right.
Okay.
And then she taught me some Ocarina song. I don't know.
Song of Time, maybe? I don't want to spoil it either.
No, it was song of... no, it was just a song to like talk to her.
Okay.
So I could like tune in with her. You can tell like I'm playing this once every week because I can't remember anyone's fucking names. But I played with a horse. That was fun.
Did you catch the horse or no?
No. I sung to it. Yeah, I did. I guess I did this Ocarina song and it came over to me. That was it.
Okay.
I have a feeling I'm going to be going back there and maybe getting that horse. I don't know. Yeah, it's really weird. I know nothing about Zelda, but it's like watching like Halloween, where you're watching a movie that is basically like the progenitor of every other one after it.
Yeah.
And like, so you're seeing the cliches happen because they weren't cliches when Zelda Ocarina of Time was out, but they are kind of now. So I'm kind of filling in the blanks, and then I'm kind of hitting the right notes, I guess. Hitting the right notes, ha ha ha, Ocarina. James, what have you been playing?
Civ 6, and not enough of it. It's
just
been
Civ 6.
Civ 6. I mean, Dota 2 as well, of course. I mean, that'll always take a beating, and for some reason, like a battered wife, go back. There's nothing more I can do. But no, Civ 6 is just beautiful. It's interesting to play it again. I don't know where I would place it next to Civ 5 right now.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff it does differently, and again, I'm sure they're going to like. It's sort of sad that they're probably going to have, or already planned out, like DLC to come out in a year's time. That'll sort of enhance it more. So that's sort of slightly weary, and also the art style they've gone took a minute to get used to.
Yeah, it's super cartoony. It looks iOS almost kind of.
Yeah, it almost sort of reminds me of like almost with Team Fortress 2, where like they felt like, well, we could go hyperreal or we can sort of go cartoony. And I felt like, that's what happened here again. Like I felt Civ 5 was sort of like, of the time, this is, moving towards hyperreal or trying to get as real as possible. And this time they've gone like over the top sort of characteristics, but it's good. It's interesting. There's a bit of a curve, so it's not just like Civ 5 with better graphics or Civ 5 with something.
Well, that's good. It's good that you were playing that because it looks like we might have some strategy games to get into our list this week. Before we do that, though, a little bit of feedback. I jumped into the YouTube comments because we don't talk about those enough. So here's a couple of interesting comments from our friends over at youtube.com, if you've heard of it. First one's from Geneality of Evil, who says, during our conversation in episode 13, I mentioned something about if they had made like a Reservoir Dogs game. His or her comment was, there was a Reservoir Dogs game and it was utter shite. And I totally forgot, but this did come out in 2006
Interesting.
for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and Windows. It was made by Volatile Games, who have made that and Dead to Rights Retribution. So not exactly the most sort of famous. We were talking about the Warriors and stuff like that, and like Godfather, Scarface, all these games that came out based on movies that were kind of a bit weird. But this thing was entirely voice cast by like different people who were doing like impressions of Mr. White, Mr. Orange, and everything. So I kind of want to get it, but it's hard to come by. We also had a comment from Remember Amnesia saying, I love how it still says the order 1866 instead of 86. I probably shouldn't know that. So apparently I keep going back to an old template of the list. So every like other week I fix it and then I like go back again, and then it's like, so it keeps bouncing between 86 and 66. So apologies to our friends over at who made that game again? I always forget the name of them. The lead. Oh, what are they called? The Order. I need to look it up. Because I feel bad because the guy who is like the lead designer now follows me on Twitter. So every time I tweet about a Tournament of Lies, Ready at Dawn, I'm always terrified he's going to click on the link and see his game. It's like second from the bottom.
We're like building bridges so well where it's like, hey, we've taken you off the bottom of the list by default, and we can't remember who you are. But
yeah, your game is still worse than Minesweeper.
Yeah.
And then the last comment we have here is from Ian Clark saying, in reply to Dennis's comment about the N64 not having voice acting, Shadow Man had voice acting that was actually pretty well done on the 64. The game also had a talking worm complete with a thick Irish accent. Actually, maybe it was Scottish. I totally forgot Shadow Man was a game that existed.
Yeah, that sort of got lost. Oh god, I'm gonna forget. That was it Outlast or Outcast? There's a bunch of games that came in like the early 2000s that all sort of had that weird.
Yeah, the box art's the same.
Yeah,
you're right. I never. You're right. It's like Outlast had a dude with weird glasses, and Shadow Man has a guy with like either he's got no eyes or he has glasses on as well. Yeah.
I only ever played like the demo of it or like a little bit of a friend's house on the PlayStation, and it's an interesting concept. Like I think the whole concept was that like you die and then you're in like a shadow world.
Okay.
But I think that's the whole thing. I can't remember. That would be an interesting one to play through.
Yeah, I know nothing about this one really.
Yeah.
I just know the box art. What about you, Dennis?
Yeah, no, like I know the game, but definitely didn't play it on N64. But like that's brilliant recall because we would never. We've gone to our graves fully in the knowledge that the N64 never had voice acting ever.
Yeah. Well, I know it also had it in Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Oh, really?
That's some voice acting right there.
I think it's fair to say the N64 didn't have all that much voice acting.
Not at all.
I mean, Ocarina of Time has voice acting in that the fucking little harpy won't stop saying, hey, listen to me every fucking 20 seconds.
We live in a binary world, 1 and 0. It did or didn't have it. It had it. So all the games had it as far as I'm concerned now.
Well, I'm looking forward to Shadow Dan after you finish the Ocarina on your channel. You can play through Shadow Dan.
Very good. That's pretty good, actually. Shadow Dan. Yeah.
Shadow Dan.
Probably be...
Just Photoshop you with glasses.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
At a 3/4 stance.
Yeah. Let's take my shirt off. It look real good.
Hip hop pose. Be perfect.
He's got those like Morpheus ass glasses on.
Yeah.
Like the thin round ones. Yeah, they're so weird. Anyway, let's get into our list, gentlemen. I'm actually flying to the East Coast in like 4 hours, so I kind of want to like. I said we have to do it this week because it's my fault that we didn't have it for the past couple of weeks, and we should get one out at least for Thanksgiving and come back next week. So in I guess appreciation of Thanksgiving, the wonderful American holiday that's I don't even know, it celebrates killing Indians or something, or like the time they didn't kill Indians, then eventually they ended up killing the Indians anyway. So I don't know. The things I know about Thanksgiving are family and fighting. So we have some games that you consider are about fighting. Okay. You could call them fighting games, maybe. And I also have a submission from either one of your families. As well. So I don't know how fast we're going to get through these, especially as some of them are a little bit on the trickier side. We might have to bolster up our bloated purgatory list, which we'll get to in a little bit. But I'm going to jump into it straight away. The first one is from John O'Connor.
Yes.
Who sent in similar list. Your brother, James, Dennis's brother also we have here, who sent in a very similar list. John O'Connor has sent in 3 strategy games. Because we are very much without strategy games right now. The first one I think probably everyone has played this ever in the history of the world. Came out in 1993.
Okay.
I'm just going to tell you the name of the developer.
Okay.
It's Maxis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is one of the. It's almost a game that defines a genre.
Like Age of Empires, or what is it?
I'm gonna say SimCity.
Which one?
If it's 93, I'm gonna say 2000.
Yes.
I think the first one was okay. I think the first one was like 89 or something.
Great job. SimCity 2000, the sequel to SimCity. That isometric city building. Make an alien appear, load up the biggest city you can, and just give it earthquake after earthquake. Sort of defined the city building genre as we know it today. City Skylines kind of like the one that has it now, but SimCity and Maxis have kind of, they're all different. Will Wright's doing his own thing at the moment, or doing something else. But yeah, I've played SimCity 2000. James, sounds like you have too. Dennis, have you played it?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Who wants to take this one and run with it?
You.
All right, SimCity. I played a shit out of SimCity 2000. I still think it's like, what they do when they have like, this is probably something you know about Civ, James, is that the more you iterate, or when you add onto a game, they sort of add in functionality, and then some of that functionality is either superfluous or it becomes sort of like too many plates to spin, and you sort of miss enjoying spinning the 4 plates that really work. And SimCity 2000 for me is like the most refined and sort of simple version of that genre. It's got a really easy loop. You're basically just managing the budget and trying to get people to move to your place, and then also make sure they've got jobs. Graphically, it's kind of timeless in this weird way. Like, I still enjoy going back and playing it now. It has like cursor key controls, so you can move the map that way. Zoning works. I can even hear the sound, that like zoom sound when you like put down electrical poles. Like the whole thing just kind of worked really well. And in later versions of the game, they added a lot of stuff to it. But like there was something like really good and pure about that version. Even like the most complicated thing in SimCity 2000 was like the water systems, like figuring out how to pump the water out of the lakes and get the water towers working and all that shit. But like that was it, right? Everything else was kind of like simple. And I feel like City Skylines has kind of perfected that on the other end. But for me, all the other SimCities that came out afterwards were just a little bit on the unwieldy side.
I would agree with you. I think I was going to start by saying, and just thinking about it, SimCity 2000 probably is the best SimCity. I love the SNES version of SimCity 1 that came out, which is very cool, which sort of just because it has like this little Nintendo feel. And even like the first version of SimCity had like those weird FMV videos that I cut to every now and again.
Oh, yeah.
Which is very, very weird. But SimCity 2000 to me really is probably, like as you said, it's like the perfect balance for a city building game. The isometric, the size of the maps, and how you approached it was fantastic. What you could do in it, like you're taking on from the original SimCity, having say a fire station, schools, the sort of the civils parts. Yeah. Having the fact that they added water, which would be a little complicated but not hard to follow, and I think it even had trash too. Maybe it might have the waste management.
I don't think it had refuse in it. No.
Okay, maybe that's came in 3. But 2, I don't know. I agree with you. It just had a perfect balance. Even like the zoning, the fact that it now became 1 tile instead of like having to be like a 4 block, meant you could set it any way you wanted. And really, like to me, like SimCity 3 is great, but it's like there's a few little tweaks, but really they just took 2 and just graphically improved.
Yeah, I agree. It was the graphical jump. I think was more than was kind of what they were banking that one on.
And I agree. Like I agree with you as well. Like by the time you got to 4, like 4 is again, it's 4 is a beautiful game, but like once they added the whole like you really create the world, you really set it up first, and all the rest of it, it almost became too much. Like it's sort of like one of the points where we came back when we talked about Theme Hospital. Right. It was very much, and like even the original theme park is like they're sort of in the simplicity and like to a degree like restraining certain things. Like not everything is completely open, almost makes it more enjoyable because then you have to work within those sort of boundaries.
Yeah, I agree.
I think SimCity 2000 really does it well, where you're sort of sitting there and like there's a set amount of things you can do, which is huge. Like there's a huge amount that you can do, but it's like sort of like within this box, and it's just beautiful. Like I mean I don't know. Again, I'm a huge fan of those type of games where you're just sort of sitting back. You're just sort of building, and then you just sort of like slowly watch it build and see what happens, and sort of
just hit that, and that auto generate, that reticulating splines, just making that level. That was fun. Dennis, what do you think about it?
Yeah, even talking about like the undisputed leader in this area at the moment being Skylines, like even that has issues with the kind of overcomplication of the genre. So like, it is pretty much flawless, bar at a certain stage of critical mass, your cities kind of still become inoperable.
Yeah,
and that's kind of to do with just general complication. Like you end up with these like 5-lane highways where all the cars are just in one, and these are kind of bugs. And I'm not trying to knock it down or anything, but like only trying to maybe emphasize your point that I think yes, absolutely, there was a perfect moment of like, this is totally accessible and still kind of wonderful feeling of accomplishing a kind of a moving living city. I funnily enough put in my head a non-game with this, because at the very same time I would have been pissing about in Carta Encyclopedia. It's on a gateway PC. It's just these three things are really intertwined for me. Look, I'm going to go straight. Like, we don't have to go listing it the second, but like
might as
Team
well.
Hospital
we got to get through this. Yeah,
true enough. Team Hospital is going to be the very obvious, timely, similar genre thing to equate it to. But I think going back to how we rated Team Hospital again, the big similarity and what we really loved about it was that it just had enough intricacies for us to feel accomplishment, but not to be like, this is just too many spinning plates and I'll get bored with it in half an hour.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Theme Hospital also has a charm that SimCity kind of didn't, in that like, and that's where I feel like your comparison to Uncharted rings really true for me, is that it did feel as much, it felt very much on the management side as opposed to like, there's a sort of I don't know, there's a warmth to like City Skyline, which I didn't even feel with SimCity. SimCity felt like an exercise in managing a city, not really like you were always building a fun place. In fact, have you ever seen that, what's it called, the like Magnus City, the like perfect version of SimCity 2000? It's like the most efficient version of a city you can possibly build. There's a really good Vice article about the guy who made it. It's fucking nuts. It's
almost, it came out a few years ago, I think. Someone had it, or like they posted it to Reddit or somewhere, and it was like he just had like but it's funny. It's almost like, as an aside, I'll get to the aside in a second. It is almost like autonomous, like every single thing. It's the best super buildings, and it is the widest map you can do, and everything's in a perfect structure, just sort of making money.
It's like Mega City 1, but like done well. It's like it's just all these like self-contained tower blocks and like subway system. There's no roads; they're just subways to connect them all. Yeah, it's awful. It's like appalling.
In the same way, and it's a slight aside. Have you seen the thing where it's someone? I think it's Civ 1 or Civ 2 has been playing the same save. Or at the point of this article, have been playing the same save game for 10 years. And all
it's like
that
corrupting itself or something?
Well, what was happening is just like the same. It was almost like people were like, it's the message for what's going to happen to us, where it's like the same there's like 3 super countries left, and they all just kept on nuking each other, and every 50 years they'd have nuclear wars. All the land was like inoperable, and it was this weird dystopian future, and like people were like asking for the save game to play it and see what happened.
Oh my god.
But that was an amazing thing on SimCity 2000. But back on track, I think I agree with you as well, where it's like, when you sort of said it, I think even like say something like Theme Hospital, there's sort of a funness to it, and there's like almost like sort of like, there's those missions that go through, but outside the disaster, like you hit the nail on the head, Danny. You are more of a mayor than like sort of just like an overseer that sort of takes stuff. There's sort of like the budget bouncing and just sort of seeing what works best for the city. But even that they just do so well. Like there's never a part where like you don't play SimCity 2000 and go like, if only they had this, or if they only had like this aspect to it. Just everything that they sort of give you is like just the right amount, and all the challenges, even balancing budgets or what you can apply to the city or what taxes you can do or what bills you put through, just all sort of work really, very well.
And similar to Theme Hospital, you could kind of ignore all that shit if you wanted to, which kind of like we were, because like we would have been pretty young when this came out. And let's we got a bunch of games to get through, so let's try and rank this one. Anyone having any thoughts? Dennis, you started off talking about Theme Hospital. I think, are we all in agreement that it doesn't beat Theme Hospital anyway?
It's not even really close, I think, to being a more fun, enjoyable game. It's just that I think there's kind of a lot of thematic parallels. I would say it's probably going to be in the mid-20s for me, which is maybe for what is the best in a huge... But it's kind of huge for us. Like, anybody who's like younger than 18 probably doesn't really give a shite about the SimCity series overall, because even the new ones are crap. So
it's a shame.
Like, I'm thinking in around kind of Skate LA Noir. It's a great game. I love it. I love those 2 games too. So that's kind of where I'm feeling.
I'm kind of with you in that I think it's a really great, it's a good game. I think its impact at the time was really big because it was sort of it didn't make the genre, and there was games like Populous and like there was other games that were happening, right? But like something about SimCity 2000 really like sort of framed what this stuff could be. But also it wasn't exactly genre that then sort of like split out from that. It was kind of just the SimCity series until City Skylines came along. Even stuff like Black and White was like going in the more populous-y direction. So
yeah,
I kind of feel like its impact is better than how good it is. So I'm kind of with you in that I think it gets in around the sort of early to mid 20 area. James, what are you thinking?
I think it's high. I agree with you. Looking at the list, I think as high as it goes for me is 19. Like it just goes above Braid. And then I can see it go again. I think it's high 20s, but just where it sort of slots in.
You mean high in number or like 20 like 20?
Oh no, closer to 1. Like so
okay.
like 22, 23. Like I would probably put it above Papers, Please, personally.
Oh, I'm looking at Dennis.
Yeah, like especially when you talk about like being a game about doing a job.
Yeah,
but just think, Dennis, like in SimCity 2000, you can build a world in which that outpost is.
Yeah, or you
Be
can
able to, the human stories.
Have they added in walls yet? You just build a wall.
If only. No, I don't think so.
How's about we just say 24 then? Like, and just put it behind Papers, Please, so that I still get be happy instead of you.
Fair enough.
To me, it's much of a much. I don't really hold much stock in it going. We're getting into the troubley part now, where it's so difficult to define anything in these lumps because they're all just samey. They're all hot 7 out of 10 games, or like 8 out of 10 games, or 9 out of 10 games. I'd be happy to stick it behind Papers, Please. I think SimCity is
because I haven't played it Until Dawn. I put it above LA Noire, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah. All right. Fuck it. Yeah. Sure. That was relatively painless. Let's stick it in there. So on the list, SimCity 2000 goes in at number 24. Beautiful. Let me just get that in there. Oh wait, sorry. Until Dawn. I forgot about Until Dawn. Is Until Dawn at 24? Wait, I got confused.
Until Dawn was 24.
24.
Now SimCity has gone in above it, behind Papers, Please.
Oh, you know what? I didn't update the website then. I forgot to put that one in.
Okay.
When did we do Until Dawn? Last episode?
No.
So.
Was the last episode?
We had a lot of horror.
No,
games.
it must have been 2. It would have been a 2 or 3 ago.
Oh, we got it a good while ago, did we?
We did.
We didn't get Purgatory, maybe?
It was in Purgatory for a while. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Okay. Well, sorry. So it goes. Wait. SimCity's better than Until Dawn. Yeah. So it's over that. 24.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Sorry. All right. Sorry. SimCity 2000. I will update the website. I think maybe I broke it last time I updated it. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 is still at the bottom though. Yeah. Okay. Next one from John O'Connor. Jesus Christ. There's another banger. It's another banger. It's another huge banger. Do you want to just guess?
Let's just guess. Let me guess.
Came out in 1997.
I was about to say The Sims.
No.
Okay.
Try again.
Command & Conquer Red Alert.
No.
Okay.
That might be on a different list. Okay, I'll go with you. This is made by Ensemble Studios.
Ensemble then is an Age of Empires or Age of Mythology.
Oh wow. Okay.
Age of Empires 3.
97.
Oh, then 1. I guess.
Yeah.
Wow. Excellent.
Wow.
AOE 1, the sort of goddaddy of the real-time strategy genre, I guess. This is the first one though, so remember that while you're making your cities and having all your fun time, this is also the game that would only allow you to make one unit at a time.
True.
So it's a good game, but it's not without its crippling like quality of life problems that would kill you in 2016. Have we all played Age of Empires?
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, I want to check. I think I've got it on Steam, but yes,
is it on Steam?
Yeah, I think Age of Mythology definitely is, because as the Steam sale's going on, I'm eyeing it up. I wonder if I want to pick it up.
Yeah, you can get Doom for like $20 right now.
I might finally have to pick it up then.
Age of Empires, the first game in a very, very long series. What do we did, Dennis? What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, funnily that you bring up Age of Mythology. I think that's maybe my favorite in the series that are Age of Empires 2. Yeah, it would age horribly, like you've already kind of mentioned straight out. Yeah, but it's also one that we all played to shite and, was instrumental in getting the. It came out in 1999 or 97?
99 was Age of Kings, the second one.
Okay, when did Red Alert come out? This was
Probably 96 and 95, I think.
Yeah,
they're both very well. If we're going by that comparison as well, they're both very sort of
96
different.
Red Alert came out.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Did I say the first real-time strategy game? Sorry.
No, I don't think
Yeah,
you said that.
I
Because
think-
there would have been plenty.
I know. I
before.
think I might have actually said that, but I think Warcraft was probably before any of them. That was
And
that
he-
was 1994. Yeah.
and even like Dune or something like that.
Sorry.
I think existed.
You're right.
Warcraft
Yeah.
2.
Well, Dune 2.
before that.
Dune 1 was
Yeah.
Dune 1 was like a story game. Dune 2 was the strategy game. Yes, you're right. Dune 2 would have come out probably 1993. 2. Yeah. Okay. So
earlier.
what the fuck was I saying? Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so like, Age of Empires holds a space for me that's behind many of the other real-time strategies at the time. And look, I know how important it is, and I know how much I actually did love Age of Mythologies and Age of Empires 3 and 2. But Warcraft 2 in particular, StarCraft, and most of the Command & Conquer games, and a couple of others, kind of, I just think did it well. And I think maybe it goes back to your quality of life upgrades. They had the things that made war games fun for somebody who was quite young at that time. So it was kind of not boring looking, but I guess kind of a little bit more muted and kind of somber in its tones, and it didn't excite me at the time. And so I don't have any gigantic affection. It's definitely good. But yeah, I have nothing further really to say about it. It's not my jam.
I think it held a special place in my heart because it was like I didn't have that experience with Warcraft, and I don't really like the Red Alert games, and I'm also kind of too stupid to play like Civ. And Age of Empires for me existed in this like beautiful little middle ground where it was like a kind of a city building game, but then there was also like a war aspect to it, but it wasn't like playing, Command & Conquer is almost like playing StarCraft, right? Where it's about the war. It's about like building your troops up and killing the other team. Like that's what the city building part. But because of Age of Empires, you could like win in different ways, and because the tech tree took forever. Like it wasn't like a star. I haven't played much Warcraft, so I can't really speak to it. But like it wasn't like a StarCraft
You're
where
spot on.
by the end. Okay. So yeah, like to me, I loved it because it was this like very wholesome, kind of Microsoft published game with, it looked beautiful, and it was as relaxing as SimCity, but instead of SimCity 2000 having this like basically no end game, at least Age of Empires had like sort of an end game, and then you'd restart and do it again. So it kind of worked for me, but I can totally see how it's nowhere near best in class when it comes to like war games. Like I remember noticing the difference when I played Rise of Nations, because that's a game that felt more like it was about killing people. I don't know. Also, like apparently AOE was like really big in multiplayer circles, but I would have been too young, so those multiplayer people would have been playing it as a war game presumably, but I wasn't, I guess.
I know. I agree with you. I think that's like you hit the nail on the head. It's the place I would put it is very much sort of almost between like a Civ and a to me Command and Conquer. I didn't really play the StarCraft till later. But yeah, no, it's definitely sort of in that thing where it's like, yeah, there's a strategy element to it. It's like, it's not turn-based. You're very much sort of going through, but like the whole point wasn't just going their army against our army and killing. Like that's an aspect to it you can do. But it was, as you said, almost like starting as the Stone Age, slowly but surely bronze, iron, going through to like modern day, and just taking it and really just sort of enjoying that plot of land.
Yeah, it actually it stopped. It didn't go up that far into modern day. It stopped at like,
I don't Renaissance or something. I can't. It's been a while.
Yeah, I forget, because I remember like AOE 2 being like different, right? Because it was like castles and shit, and that wasn't in the
the first one. I think it was like the Iron Age, or maybe just beyond that.
I think you're right.
But
because then Rise of Nations was the one where it was like, fuck yeah, we got nuclear stuff going on here as well.
And I just really feel like that, like for what it was doing, just like even from an art style point of view, like from that sort of pace of gaming, it was just like a different. Like the fact that you even had to like the workers would do certain things and you could only have X amount number, to increase your size.
You like build houses so you could have more workers. Like all that stuff was
all that sort of stuff is just very like they just did it very well, and like the art style was very sort of like, I mean, I know it's sort of now we laugh at it, but it was like sort of realistic at the time, just even the player models and stuff like that. And the pacing was very much just sort of like a more slow, somber way a lot, like it just timing for it. Like as you said, like it wasn't a case of like something like Red Alert where you could like you're gonna play a game and at most it might take you 2 hours.
Right. Yeah. Age of Empires take forever.
Oh yeah, it might be a day or two, and then you'd be like, okay, cool, game over.
I still remember all the like shit that those dudes would say when you click on them. Like, like Donna D.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But no, it was a very interesting concept, and again, like as you already pointed out, they clearly sort of improved upon it, or maybe felt that like what they were trying to, we've come across it on several games here, where we'll see in the first game a concept that they wanted to go for or were trying, and they might pull it off or they might not, but maybe feel different pressure, and maybe that's what I'm with like number 2, is that they're like, oh, everyone wants more of this StarCraft, Red Alert style game, and they want that pace and sort of like that whole thing, and that's sort of they moved away from it and became more about the warmongering bit rather than this sort of weird quasi advancement of the future, but like also a war game, but also sort of a settlement game.
Yeah, but, it's weird. It's like, and I think it's like a different strokes for different folk situation where like some people that was like super. I remember there being reviews. I remember reading the GameSpot review of Age of Empires, and that was kind of one of the things they were complaining about. And then. But then there's like people like me who I'm just not good enough at the war ones, and that it worked for me. Anyway, let's get this thing in here, list wise. Dennis, we made you do it last time, so maybe I might go for it this time and see where we're starting off here. Like, I love this game. I think it's hard to recommend it in 2016 when there are so many other games that are not even just better to play in the modern era, but also just were better than the first Age of Empires. So to me, I kind of put it in around it's in the 40s for me.
Oh really? I was looking at like 32, and I felt like that's sort of the but maybe the 40s. Let me look.
Poor pod racer. What were you thinking, Dennis?
I probably was even thinking higher again, but I think I've been swayed by you guys. Really good arguments, and the fact that I've spent the whole time you guys were talking about it, looking at pictures of it, and being like, "Oh, I did love this game."
Okay.
But actually,
okay. Here's the thing:
Age of Empires 2, which is again just more fantastic in every way. I think mid to late 30s is probably fair.
So they released Age of Empires 2, the HD one, on Steam, and apparently that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's telling that they released the second one and not the first, because like they could, and there is this they released 3 as well, didn't they? You're right.
Yeah. Or I picked up the bundle of the 2 of them.
Right. I don't think 3 is I think 3 is just the original version though, isn't it? It's not like an HDified version of it.
No, yeah, I think you're right.
So yeah, I don't know. Just to temper that emotion a little bit. I do think that it's like not as...
I will play slight devil's advocate where like a lot of those early games which were like, Windows. I was about to say like now and again the coding kind of gets messed up, and it might be, well, again to your point, sorry, I'm fighting against myself. To your point, they clearly maybe went like, it's not worth trying to recode this and sell it again. Right. We'll just do number 2, which was a better all around game.
Yeah, one was way more buggy as well than the second one was. All right, so sorry, Dennis, where were you thinking then?
Yeah, probably mid to late 30s.
Okay.
Let me just have a quick look at this list.
I could see that. I could see it going higher then. Yeah, I guess some of the 40s are real shit.
Yeah.
It just feels dirty putting it close to Candy Crush.
Yeah.
But then City of Heroes is beside Candy Crush. Not already feels dirty.
I'd have it above City of Heroes, possibly above Donkey Kong Country 2. Probably.
I'd put it above Spec Ops. I'd probably put it above Saint Road the Third. Call of Duty 2 is... The next 2 are sort of the ones where...
Call of Duty 2 is a hard one to put it ahead of.
Yeah.
Well, it's also again, because like the issue with putting in the list now and like not taking it independently is like we know in the back of our mind that there are better versions of this game between Age of Empires 2, 3, which I haven't played probably, and then also Mythology.
We'll be fucking ourselves over here, guys, because if we have to put in every other Age of Empires game above this and Age of Mythology above it somewhere, although you guys might agree, then it's
Yeah.
going to be a list full of Age of whatever games.
We can't put it above Call of Duty 2 anyway.
No,
right?
no,
Like,
we're not going to do that.
Let's do 37 then.
37. Like, I'd rather play Spec Ops than Saints. I don't know actually. I do love Age of Empires. Yeah, I could see it going 37.
Saints Row
the Third is like, I don't know.
good
Saints Row
fun.
2 is like a really good game though. It's like,
Yeah, it's good fun. Well, okay, let's put it above Spec Ops. Honestly, I was one and done with that.
yeah.
Okay, let's drop it one down. Ahead of Spec
Okay.
Ops, which we like, and we love Age
Yeah,
of Empires,
that's fine.
so but just kind of Saints Row the Third, which is objectively way more fun.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All in agreement. 38.
Cool.
Okay,
Excellent.
sounds good. Okay. We've got one more from Connor, but I feel like we should split the difference maybe between
Good list.
him and other black stuff here. Mr. David Walsh, who also had some great ones in here. Also, John just went for 3 fucking incredible games, which I think I'm gonna dodge the third
How
bullet.
incredible is it?
Oh,
I feel
Fat
like
John's
wrong.
getting
I
let
feel like
down
this
here.
is wrong. If
Yeah.
we don't do it, just do it. Come on.
just do it. Okay, can we get
Please.
promise me, because I don't want to skip David's one. So promise me we'll get through this one fast.
Okay, we'll get
Yes.
through it fast. We'll get
We'll
through
just
all
put
of
we'll
David's
just put it
fast.
straight on the list. Yeah, we'll put it just the next 4. We'll just put straight on the list.
we'll just okay. Everyone has 2 sentences to say about
Okay.
this game,
Oh, excellent.
and
Okay.
then we list it. Okay.
Okay, excellent.
This is the new reality of a tournament of Vies.
I like it.
This game, I same as last time because you're gonna know straight away. I'm just gonna say it. This game came out in 1995. It was made by Westwood Studios.
Fucking Command and Conquer, baby.
Yes. Okay. The first Command and Conquer. Command and Conquer, sort of otherwise known as Command and Conquer Tiberian Dawn. This is the OG. I guess Westwood had made Dune 2 by this stage as well, but
D4 knocking at your door.
this was this was the original and best. This did come out on Nintendo 64, PlayStation, Mac, Sega Saturn. Came out on PlayStation Network apparently. So did SimCity 2000, by the way. That was weird. And of course Windows as well. Okay, James. First of all, you got okay. You know what? 4 sentences. Command and Conquer.
4.
Go.
Hold on a second. Okay, let me think.
I mean, I gave you 2, so you should already have 2 banked.
Okay, I was gonna say amazing soundtrack. That was one.
Wait, I give you 4 sentences, and you make a 2-word sentence.
I was okay. I was trying to think. I know it came not paragraphs, but I was trying to think. Command and Conquer 1. Let me see. It was an absolutely incredible game to play. What it did for the real-time strategy genre, in my eyes, was fantastic by having this realistic fight. Or sorry, these 2 not too distant future sides going against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Even the fact that you could split off to different parts of the map for missions was fantastic. Its one down flaw that Red Alert improved on is that it had skirmish mode in an age where nobody really had the internet and the ability to play.
Okay.
And on number 5, cheat, amazing soundtrack. Yeah.
Dennis, go for it.
Well, it's not the best soundtrack in the series. That's Red Alert 2, you fool. It's super ugly, just to give us some balance here. It's hideous. But it was great. It was really beautifully balanced for a strategy game of its time. And yeah, I don't know. Not as good as Age of Empires, I'd say. This as a start point. The series gets far better and eclipses the other, in my eyes. But yeah, that's it. I don't know how many sentences that was. I think there were a lot of small sentences. And these are still there's a lot of commas, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. Sentence 6, serious rules, go nudes. Nor nods, naughty base. Nods all the way.
I didn't take too many breaths. Go.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't speak to this one too much. I remember this was like the sort of like Westwood had made Dune 2, but Dune 2 I think didn't have network support, or if it did, it was like really shoddy. And I remember CNC being like, they were like, okay, we're gonna make Dune, but we're gonna make a multiplayer version that's like super war focused and doesn't have to worry about like House Atreides, House Harkonnen, and House Odos, like this weird lore from this crazy book. Good book. So to me, it was like this pure version of what they were doing with that, and I know people are really into it, but I didn't play enough of it to really say. So I'm kind of gonna have to abstain from this one. Oddly, I've played more of like Red Alert and Red Alert 2 and Tiberian Wars, but I haven't replayed this one.
I will say this: Red Alert 1 was a smart move by Westworld, where it was like
Tim Westwood.
Yeah, it was an incredible idea where, like, as I said, they added a skirmish mode to the multiplayer, because in 1 they didn't have that.
We're not talking about that. We're not talking. You can't say like say 5 sentences about a game that's not on the list after doing 4 about one.
But what I'd say as well is like putting a real-time Red Alert did a lot better. But the first one's so amazing for the game. The basis and core is there. That has gone through pretty much every Command and Conquer game since.
All right. So what are we talking number wise? Where are you two thinking, gentlemen?
Got to be in the ballpark of Age of Empires.
Yeah.
Maybe kind of give or take 5, anywhere within that kind of range. Again, like going above Call of Duty 2 is pretty tough because that's a fantastic game. I don't know. James?
It sounded like you were saying Age of Empires was a better first go at it.
Yeah, I think it was. I think. I don't know.
See, I would disagree because I think Command and Conquer was just like
Yeah.
every Command and Conquer, whether it was pretty much Red Alert series or the original TOS, it was pretty much it just was all that basis. They sort of almost nailed it with that first game, and it was just sort of like small improvements here and there. I would say 30.
Ooh, you're dragging it up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so we're thinking somewhere between 40 and 30, it seems.
Yes.
All right, with those parameters, Dennis, where would you then?
It's the struggle of our stupid list, our stupid perfect list. Like I'd put it above Beatles Rock Band while simultaneously putting it below like Call of Duty 2.
Right.
I'd probably have it above Earthworm Jim and Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer. But like Spyro was pretty great. Driver is pretty great. But in a funny way, I find it I enjoy it more than Transistor. Do I? I kind of love Transistor. See, it's so far gone that I last played Transistor. I'll say 34.
All right, knocking Spyro and Earthworm Jim apart. So
Well,
better
James can
is
still-
the first Red Alert, the first Command and Conquer better than Call of Duty 2?
Oh God, no.
I don't like think about it in comparison to think about it in the same way we thought about Age of Empires, right? Where there's more of these coming.
Yeah.
So like,
I've made exception for Red Alert and Red Alert 2. They're gonna have spaces on that list.
But there's way more come on. Yeah, Danny.
Yeah, no, the rest
you
after
sold me.
that.
It goes just
Okay.
behind Age of Empires.
No, you just got out of the list.
Fine, goes
soundtrack
one above
alone.
Age of Empires.
Okay. Fine.
Not going above Call of Duty 2. I'm putting myself
Okay, it's gone above then Saints Row the Third.
so we think
Not good
37 is a fair
Yeah.
down.
above Saints Row. Why is Red Alert better than Saints Row?
Or
So why is Command and
Conquer
Conquer better than?
I mean, the FMV videos alone, the soundtrack, the gameplay. No, I like it did so much. Like just in that, I mean, it pretty much put EA on the map.
All right, here we go. Right, I would contest that, but let's say,
I know the bold statement today.
It's a bold, yeah.
I said it, and then I was just like, I'm not going to mention FIFA or Madden or anything or NHL.
Desert Strike.
Yeah.
Okay, 37. We're putting Command and Conquer at 37, above Saints Row 3rd. If anyone has any particular problem with that, email lies@atournamentoflies.com and we'll talk about it again. But until then, it's going in at 37. Okay.
I'll tell you what. If you got a problem that will 1v1 Skype, and while you're telling me your reason, I'll have the soundtrack in the background, and you'll be like, oh. What do you listen to? It's really cool. And I'll be like, it's Command and Conquer, baby. And you'll just end the Skype call and be like, argument over.
Okay, I'm going to ask you both to vote on this, right? We have questions from people. We have submissions from people for games that are about fighting, one of the most critical Thanksgiving things, right?
Excellent.
But we also have a separate list of more strategy games from family member, very important part of Thanksgiving, David Walsh, the other black stuff. So it's up to you folks which one we should go with. We'll see if we got a split decision. James, what would you prefer to tackle? I say this because we're an hour in and I have to fly in like 4 hours, so I need to edit this.
Let's do fighting and save the brother one for more time so we can give it justice.
All right, Dennis,
Seems
what do you
fair.
think?
That seems fair. We've
Seems
done
fair?
3. But we'll get to that list, don't worry.
Okay, let's bank that one for next week. In fact, we might just do this again because we got some really great fighting games put in here by a bunch of people. Zach Field, thank you very much for sending this list in. It's very similar to John's in that we're not talking about, we're getting in there. We haven't had many fighting games. I'm not sure if we have any fighting games actually. I haven't had a proper look at the list. Have a little look there and see. But we're getting in here with some really good ones. So Zach says, as a fighting game fan, it saddens me not a single one has appeared on the list. With that, and for the sake of general or for genre diversity, I came with a list of some of the most noteworthy fighting games. I will probably follow up in part 2 with part 2 later, since I came up with more than 3. So I've taken 3 of them here.
Okay.
So these are 3 fighting game bangers. And I'm going to start...
Can I ask you, how many of these are the second in their series?
2 of them.
Yeah.
Excellent. I've got a
Are
wild
they both
guess.
like acronyms, like 2-letter acronyms followed by a 2?
Yes.
Okay. Wait. Oh shit. Now I'm thrown off.
But which versions of these are we talking about as well? Okay, so I'm gonna start with which I believe is the earliest, although they may have both come out the same year.
Oh, now I know which it is. Okay.
So
cool.
let's go for this one, which came out in April of 1993, made by the good people at Midway.
Yes.
Acclaim published. You should probably know this
It's
already. Came out on a bunch of consoles, including I had it on the Amiga for my sins. This is Mortal Kombat 2.
Ed Boon.
Ed
But
Boon.
I know I'm going to add more to your work plate, Danny, but you should add a toasty guy coming in the bottom corner.
Yeah, I'll just do that. I'll take like 4 hours of work. So I'll just miss the flight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just take your laptop with you just around Thanksgiving Day.
Dennis, what do you think? Mortal Kombat 2. It's a pretty good fighting game, I think.
Well, we're 21 years down the line from this. 20, no, not much more than that.
Jesus.
23. Bad maths. Very bad maths. Quickly.
Ooh.
Okay, so 23 years ago, this game came out with this kind of, I don't know, what do we call this art style, where it's kind of like real people.
It's motion capture-ish, kind
Okay.
of.
It's not.
And
It's
it's
not
like-
motion capture. It's just photo cap. It's like
Okay, yeah.
no. What do you call it when you rotoscoping? Is that
Yeah,
Is that what we're
almost.
called? Yeah, kinda. Yeah.
So it was like now we can say that there's been a real move forward in how games look, but actually for probably about 10 years later, at the beginning moves to 3D, like every subsequent fighting game looked worse than this. Like this actually probably picked out the perfect style for its time, because it I think it looked better than probably any game that came out until graphics kind of got close-ish to where we are now. There's like Tekkens and stuff that were hideous. And some of the Mortal Kombat's up until the most recent, or the maybe last 2.
Yeah, MK3 looked pretty good too. Better lighting stuff, but like you're right. Like it was much of a muchness kind of between the two of them.
Anyway, so it was insanely fun. I think it's probably the one that nearly everybody played to death, as opposed to the original Mortal Kombat. We're talking Mortal Kombat 2, right? Sorry.
Yeah. We are. Yeah.
I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, love it. Absolutely gorgeous. Super fun. Just multiplayer. 2 people sitting there, 2 controllers. Just like, the violence was kind of a selling point at the time, but
Oh, definitely.
was humorous and not really controversial. Like, it would have been controversial at the time, but like, in hindsight, it was kind of like, this is kind of jokesy, so who cares? And then it just did all those little Easter eggs that made it culty as all hell because of the fatalities and stuff. And it was super fun. Really good balanced game. As somebody who's really bad at fighters, it was pretty accessible, more so than Street Fighter, I'd say, which I assume coming up next, and Street Fighter 2. So love it.
Awesome. Let me follow up on that briefly. I totally with you. I think it's cultishness is something that's like super important to this, where between the different fatalities, the like secrets that were secret characters that were in it, the secrets that people thought were happening in the stages, like even when people realized that like babalities and friendships were things, like stage specific fatalities, like all of this stuff that like in an era before the internet was like nobody knew what was real about this. There was just this crazy mystique around it. I think it arguably has the best roster of any Mortal Kombat game. Like it added in some really like good characters, like Baraka. I think is like a super interesting addition. Reptile. It had Scorpion, who of course was not in Mortal Kombat 3. It had like Sub-Zero with a fucking mask on, like none of this stupid demasked one like in 3. Just like, even being able to play as like Shang Tsung and stuff was like a crazy kind of, oh my god, you can like change characters and you can like get their moves, and it was just amazing. And yeah, I'm totally with you. Graphically, like at the time, it was the sort of it was like the poster child of, the violence in games thing. which was kind of rad because it was like, yeah, games are edgy, like
Yeah.
fuck you adults. And yeah, I remember loving the shit out of this game. Like, I love this game so much that we had it on the Amiga where you had to like change discs like 5 times before you got to a fight. But it was like totally worth it every time.
Let alone there's sometimes when you have to change the disc between, like if you did
Fatality.
Fatality,
Yeah.
I was just like, oh god. Yeah, this game really. I mean, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna preface this. I've not played some of the later Mortal Kombat games. I probably ended at 3. This is the best Mortal Kombat game. I'll say that without even playing them. This is probably one of the best fighting games. Like, it just, like, even just thinking back, like as you mentioned there, the amount of shit they put into this game for a sequel, like for like number 2,
Right.
the amount of characters, the amount of secret finishers, the amount of secret parts in the level, just attention to detail where it's like the backstory there where it's like, oh, like one level has Shao Kahn sitting there and like Sonya Blade and Kano are like tied up. You're like, oh
Right,
shit.
yeah.
Like there's just like all this sort of stuff, the nuances, like the forest, the little like creepy shit going around there, the secret characters that are there, and like it just like even the pacing from Mortal Kombat 1 was a lot slower, and that was probably just the way they coded it or graphed or whatever the process for the machines. But 2 was just so good. Like it really, really, really was good. And the big fight was Mortal Kombat 2 versus Street Fighter 2, and
Oh, don't worry, we'll get to that.
yeah, oh no, but it's just more like Mortal Kombat 2 is just, they really nailed everything on the head. Again, in terms of just like blocking, fighting, special moves, characters,
Yeah,
everything
multiple
you want.
fatalities. Like,
multiple fatalities, babalities, friendships. Yeah, and even just multiple fatalities. Each one had like 2 or 3 to pull off. And as you said, like there was more, still of that like time when, you know, a magazine might have a little hint or like people in shows talked about it. But yeah, no, this game was fantastic.
all right,
Really
shall we try and get it in there?
Yes.
Okay, I went last time first. Dennis went last time on the other one.
Yes.
James, where do you think this goes? I have a number in my head already.
Okay. I would put this. Number 10.
Okay, Dennis, what do you
Pretty
think?
close. 12.
Okay.
Okay.
And Danny, if you want to lighten us.
I was going for 5.
Ooh,
Pretty good.
Interesting. That's fair enough.
I was going for because I think there's like maybe 1 or 2 fighting games that are better than this
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And to me, we're into the realm of best evers with like Mario World and Super Meat Boy and GoldenEye and Wii Sports being there as well. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's better than, I would put it higher than Theme Hospital and Worms. I think this is like not just an iconic game, but like genuinely genre defining and still like a game that in many ways people use as like a fulcrum for quality or a benchmark or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I think Team Hospital was the coin flip out of my head. I can at least see it going 9. I think the argument for 8 as well. Like I put it above Uncharted 2. I would put it above Meat Boy if Dennis wasn't sitting here. And then maybe it's a 7.
Well, he had his way over Papers, Please. Rightfully
I'm
so.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 12 was a bit low in hindsight. I don't know. I think because I was the one who went to bat for Ratchet and Clank.
Right.
Once I was putting it above that, I kind of stopped looking up for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it can go pretty high, but 8. Can we settle on 8?
8, better than Uncharted. Super Meat Boy is the one. Is a
Yeah,
little
well,
bit-
you know me. I'm just gonna do that. So look, okay, I'm okay with it going pretty high. So I'll leave you to work this out. The finer points.
Like I love Super Meat Boy, but Super Meat Boy is like, and I guess there's no like reason why it's worse or better, right? But like Meat Boy is like is like the best version of a game that's like derivative of something, whereas Mortal Kombat is like one of the best like originals. Like it is the game that other games try and derive themselves from. So for me, it's and I'm not like what the fuck does that mean, right? Like nothing. Like that doesn't necessarily mean it's better or worse either way. But
isn't this the game that like made Germany freak out because of like the blood? I mean, it was bad, dude.
I mean, it's
don't know
probably
if you-
Wolfenstein more than Mortal Kombat,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
but I think you're right. Yeah.
But no, I do remember being a kid, and this was like one of the first. This is the game I think that caused ratings to happen for video
Like-
games. Like this is a game that like parents were like like almost the first game where parents were like, oh, we can't. At least for our generation, like, oh, our kids are playing this and they'll go around killing each other. Like this is the game that is violence in video games.
Like, okay, maybe I'm jumping the gun here, but the next game's probably going to go higher. So
Yes. So oh, it definitely is.
Yeah, probably.
Not much higher, but it's going to definitely be in there. But yeah, you know what? I don't know. I
Mario
think
World is better than Super Mario World, like.
no,
Is it not? Okay, I can't speak to that one.
not in my eyes.
I'm still playing
there's-
through Zelda.
Like,
for God's sake.
I'll allow it to go over Super Meat Boy, but Super Mario.
There are people that will argue that it's above Super Mario World, definitely, and there's probably people who bought Super Nintendos to play this, or Sega Mega Drives over Sonic and over Super Mario World.
But you feel like it's better than Wii Sports at the same time, Danny.
It's in that like Wii Sports we have up there because it's like it was a movement, right? Like it meant something to games, and in a way that was like bigger than the game. And I kind of feel like MK was that as well, coupled with like the violence sort of aspect of it. It's like it's the game that it was the like arcade game of a generation. Like it was the game that people met with their quarters and like talked about and had this like mystique and all these crazy hidden things that, you know, it's like if I could have one more like cabinet in my house, it would be a Mortal Kombat 2 machine, like fucking hands down. But like I also get that like maybe that's not the case. I personally prefer this to the game that's coming next, but I understand that the game that's coming next is probably the best version of one of the best games ever. Yeah. So
I'll tell you what, I'm willing to put it above Super Mario World. We'll put it number 6, and everyone's happy. Everyone gets a slight shafting.
I think that would piss off more people.
Oh, then, because okay, fine. I'm willing to put it above Wii Sports then. I don't think it's better. Okay, I'll put it this way: is it better than Rocket League? No. Is it better than Deus Ex? No.
I hate answering these questions.
Well, I know they're completely different genres, but then so far we've gone through 2 genres. Is it better than GoldenEye? No. Is it better than Resident Evil 4? No. Well, that one might be controversial. Is it better than Wii Sports? Different. Yeah. Maybe a little bit.
Different.
Yeah.
No, different.
I'm pretty sure there's a
Same
bowling
system.
fatality in one of the games, though.
Oh, there is.
There's the ice grenade. That's kind of bowling. Baseball, at least.
Dennis, I know you've counted yourself out, but I think we need you back in on this.
I weighed back in after counting myself out before anyway. So, yeah, 6 or 7. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm in this annoying position where, like, on a 1-for-1 basis, I kind of prefer it to Wii Sports maybe, and don't prefer it to whatever the word is for don't prefer Super Mario World. It's a really shitty way to do this. Is that like it bothers me that the next game, if it goes in higher, is like purely only going in 1 higher.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's just taking its spot, kind of, if you know what I mean. So
right.
Or
was at least taking its spot.
Yeah. No, I think it's header. Anyway, I don't know why we're like alluding to this the whole fucking time.
Mortal Kombat 2 6, and that goes in 6. I think it just stays above Wii Sports.
Okay, why? We need an argument for the listeners. I can see how Mortal Kombat is at the end of the day still a game. I mean, I feel like that was probably as close as the fighting game genre had to mass appeal in its entire history.
Okay.
And I think it has less of it now, and then it probably had more, because MK is like a really easy game to play.
Yeah.
And I think it doesn't have the like sort of the strategy and high level play that you get in other fighting games, for instance. So I do kind of see it as more casually kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like even then, it's not exactly like that genre is like even back then wasn't super popular outside of like hardcore gamers. I feel, I don't know, like maybe it was. Whereas Wii Sports does have this thing where it ended up being like Tetris, right? Where it was a game for basically anyone could play ever and enjoy it. Whereas like my grandmother's not playing fucking Scorpion.
I get that. It was definitely on the cusp, though.
Right.
I think it definitely. Let's just say, and again, let's generalize and say that at that point, the video game audience was boys, and it had probably both. It had probably both the young audience under 18, and it also had the 18 to 35s. And I think that it probably dominated that, which would have been at that time like 80%, 90%.
I don't know. Like we're inferring stuff based on nothing, right? Based on the worlds that we had, which was
that's
all
what
young boys.
That's what we do best. And we're going back to 1993. I'm gonna put some fucking like who the audience was for consoles and shit like that back then. I'm gonna put some little faith in my own ideals.
All right, should we just fucking pull the?
Fine, put it 5.
6?
Then.
No, I was I don't know.
Okay,
like
6, fine. I don't know.
6.
Where's a coin? Hold on.
I think 6.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
What do you?
It's 6. It's 6.
Okay, Mortal Kombat.
Actually,
What do you have?
Shut up, James. Mortal Kombat 2. Stop flicking the coin. Mortal Kombat 2 is in at number 6 for now. Next game up, 1994, game made by Capcom. Maybe you've heard of it. Can you guess which version of this game we're talking about?
I'm gonna say Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
You are correct.
Nice.
Arguably the best version of Street Fighter 2.
Yes.
Arguably the best Street Fighter.
Yes.
Turbo came out, bunch of platforms, arcade, Amiga, PC, 3DO, Dreamcast, Game Boy Advance, PlayStation, Saturn, PS2. It gets bundled into basically every Turbo remix and thing you could ever imagine. It was on the 360 as well, actually. I think I had a copy of it there. It's popped up on Dreamcast as well in the Super Street Fighter 2X for matching service. And yeah, is sort of widely considered one of the best of the best Street Fighter games, the best like sort of CP2 game, and yeah, I don't know, it's fucking great. I think I had it on PSP as well. It just came in on bloody everything. Who wants to take this one first?
Dennis, go ahead.
It's not much to say.
I mean,
it's going in 5. It's going in at number 5. That's pretty much all I got to say.
Yeah.
That's super fun. I played the crap out of the HD remix. I don't know, 5 years ago or 6 years ago, whenever that came out. Wow, when did that come out?
91. Oh, sorry, the remix.
No, the HD remix. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Not important. 2008, 8 years ago. Even though it's not important. Yeah, love it. Balance again. I kind of talk about this as though it's my word of the day or something, but like for a game that I don't know really is almost like that first like pro gaming game almost.
Right.
Yeah.
It needed to nail balance, and it did, and it allowed for people to just like this incredible level of mastery, and like even some of the things like if we think about not just pro gaming but like just competitive gaming, like the biggest thing that all of us I think would think of any moment of competitive gaming is surely that like those blocks guy. It's not from this game, but the blocks Street Fighter thing, and just Street Fighter I am terrible at, and I've played hours and hours of. I'm still terrible at, but I hold it in such high regard, and that for me is like I have a dreadful ego, and like for me to be bad at a game and still like it is pretty rare. So Street Fighter 2 holds a very special place in my heart. Even like not just that, but griefing. Like other people would just grief me in this game by like doing like these horrible strategies, but like that's what this game allowed. And then somebody who's better than me though would just be like, you know, we think of let's say Overwatch right now, and you take up some terrible strategy, you have a bastion and you get a shield in front of them or something. Like okay, you get good at the game, you get around those. Same in like 20 years previous for Super Street Fighter, like way before any of this,
right?
Even before balance was an art form, they figured it out. Like so, yeah. Somebody who's a little bit better than me could grief me with some stupid thing, but somebody who's a tiny bit better than him would just ruin him. Like that's gone. That's out of the door. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of gone off on tangent there. I love it.
That's good. James, what do you think?
I agree. I think, like again, it's good that this is like pretty much in the same list and together with Mortal Kombat 2 because they sort of are both of the same tree. Like Street Fighter 2 is definitely like the perfection, or like was the fighting game. Like again, I think it was the thing that really launched, say, the Super Nintendo and the Mega Drive. It really, really pushed them forward, even more than the first party games. While Mortal Kombat 2 was probably more popular because it had like that crazy blood and everything that was in it. Like there's just something about what Street Fighter 2 did so right. Is why it's still here. Does look even
we have to be careful not to bundle in 2 with this one though, because Turbo didn't come out on some of those platforms. You know what I mean? Like this
it's true enough.
This is like a different.
Well, Turbo again. What was that? Well, then I guess what it adds on to the original Street Fighter 2 was just the fact that it had the ability to have all the speed.
Yeah.
And just added those sort of like new things. I think it added Akuma as well.
It did.
Wrong, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
First time he was in the series.
Yeah, and it just absolutely just sort of did so much right for it. And like as you said, like this is the game that people still go back and end up using as a professional game that they play.
Yeah.
Like, this is the game that they go.
I think your webcam has stopped on your O face, by the way.
It has.
No, it really has.
Yeah, I mean, this was the version, just like Dennis said, this was the game that took Street Fighter 2 and stripped out all the sort of like niceties, all the casual, lovely stuff, like the, I believe they stripped out like the mini games between levels, like all the car beating up stuff. I don't think that was in this. What are the barrels? I don't think that was in Turbo. And then they added like, super combos and air combos and the ability to, speed up the game and stuff for people who wanted to be even crazier and play it at that level. And yeah, it's just like, I remember it's gorgeous too. Like all the extra stuff they did to the backgrounds and animation stuff was like the super combos, all that stuff just looked unbelievable. Like it looked as close, like you were saying, Dennis, in Mortal Kombat 2 did look like the most quote unquote photorealistic, or like it had an art style that was just like timeless up until that 3D engine. And I like, if you go back and play Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo now, like even now it looks gorgeous. It looks like a gorgeous like anime. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
all the effects
it's like a triumphant art as opposed to like triumphant technically. It's just so gorgeous to look at.
And then also packaged in one of the like most pure competitive. It's as close to like, I don't know if chess is thought of as like a really good game by board game people. But like Street Fighter 2 and then especially Turbo is like, it's like the best. It is the best fighting game ever made, right?
Can I?
Yeah.
Break our like all of our rules and like retroactively put Mortal Kombat 2 back above Wii Sports. So that like Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat 2 should be touching butts.
Side by
Their butts
side.
should be touching. Absolutely, 100% of the time. But touching.
I have no problem with that.
This is the first time we've done this. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Are we doing that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the 3-second rule. If it's been on the
That's three.
It's equivalent to that. That's the thing now. The rule set in stone.
Okay, Mortal Kombat 2 is now in 5.
Yes.
And it's now going to move down to 6. And then Street Fighter 2 is going to take 5.
So is GoldenEye better than Street Fighter 2? Because I don't give a fuck about GoldenEye.
No.
It's not better than it?
I don't think so.
Why not, Dennis?
You know what?
I guess I don't have a great argument. These are like, it goes back to what you speak of about like this being like just genre defining. GoldenEye. Is it like I have this stupid like caveat that I put around it because like I can't say GoldenEye is first person shooter genre defining, but it certainly made console first person shooters a thing. And it pretty much was as good as any in my opinion PC equivalents at the time. I couldn't put an argument. I don't have a great argument for putting it behind GoldenEye. I would have no argument for putting it above GoldenEye either. These games are pretty much indistinguishable on just pure quality grounds. They are incredible games. GoldenEye, for me, is this like, I don't care. Actually, I don't care.
Can I give a reason why I think?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Street Fighter 2 Turbo reminds me of games like EVE Online, where I understand how brilliant they are and I appreciate how brilliant they are, but whenever I try and play it, I enjoy it for 40 minutes, realize I'll never be good enough at the like high concept part of this game, which is the best part of that game, and then I stop playing again. And I think I've bought Street Fighter 2 Turbo on like fucking 6 different platforms and had the same experience where I played it, went, oh my god, this game is perfect, it looks great, it's gorgeous, it like controls perfectly, I love all the variety in the characters and the backgrounds and all the people and all that shit, and then I'm like, I'm done because I'm not good enough, goodbye.
I agree with you, and I think that's like how I feel about fighting games in general. Like, I'm not going to put in the time, or like it's a nice thing to play for like 20 minutes and then I'll walk away. I will say to Dennis's other point that like Street Fighter 2 was another game that they like bundled with consoles later to like really go through. Yeah, I remember seeing like Super Nintendos with like Street Fighter 2. Like that was the thing they sold. And it was just, I do feel it was a game that like GoldenEye that sort of brought, first person shooters to consoles. This was sort of very much the first time you had like a decent, a very good home console game that played as good in the arcades as it did at home. So Street Fighter 2 does get a lot of sort of credit for that. Or was that change where like you can now have the home entertainment system and not have to go to arcades? But no, I think either or. I think it stays below GoldenEye. I think there's a bit more depth to GoldenEye. There's people that probably still play Street Fighter 2 every day and love it. We know people who like love fighting games and like that's a genre that they just adapt to it. Get the fighting sticks, everything.
I think this is a fighting game list. It's number one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I think everyone here though we'll play fighting games. We'll have good fun. Like hey, we're having a few beers. We'll play a few rounds. But like I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through like the fighting story mode in a fighting game.
All right. So will we say 5?
I'm happy with that.
5. All right. Street Fighter 2 Turbo Edition in number 5. Mortal Kombat 2 in at number 6. I think we have to wrap this podcast up, but I'm not sure if this is actually a game which enough of us have played, but it is known as probably the best of the other one, maybe? Yeah, you just came out and said it. Have you played it?
Yes.
Dennis?
I'd have played it, but I'd have played it very little.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. We stick it in Purgatory?
Sure, we can talk about it next week.
All right, sounds good.
Talk about the best Tekken game.
Thank you so much, Zach Field, for sending those in. Thank you so much, Denis and James, for being with me this week. Happy Thanksgiving, Dennis.
I have nothing to say.
Enjoy. Are you not going to have a little bit of turkey tomorrow just to enjoy?
Nope.
Watch some Turkey Day on YouTube?
I eat beef. Only beef. Every day.
LeBouf.
LeBouf.
Dennis LeBouf. I was I'm so bad at living in America. I thought Thanksgiving was Sunday. Apparently it's tomorrow. Okay.
There is football on though tomorrow, so set your team.
Ooh, football.
Keep the fantasy league going.
Which one of you fuckers bought Ryan Tannehill?
Not me.
Damn it! Somebody got me on the waiver.
Probably Mike.
Ugh, he needs it.
He needs it. It's probably either Mike or the D-Man. It's gonna be one of those two.
The D-Man.
The D-Man.
I bet he'd love that nickname. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you so much to everyone for listening. lies@atournamentoflies.com. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Let us know what games we should get next time on a tournament of lies.